It's time to try defying gravity.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting in the wind? Face to face, out in the heat, hanging tough, staying hungry.
'Cause I still got a lot of fight left in me. Okay.
Whether it makes you laugh, cry, scream, or fly, there's a song for every emotion. We're Mike and Priya, and we talk about the songs that make up the soundtrack to your life. Because, Priya,
Life is in the lyrics, bitches.
that's right.
Oh, you're coming in hot today, Mike. You're
Hot.
coming in hot.
Hot.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I love it. I love the energy. And I also love the love bombing that I got when I came in. Not from Riva, because she jumped on me and scratched my back.
She's nuts, that dog.
She's nuts.
She's a
that
pandemic dog. We got her during the pandemic, so she's, I know. Maybe I've said this before, but.
No, I don't know if you have, but I love the justification. Bring it on.
No, yeah. It's actually, there's a couple of things. Fully admit, Dawn and I have just not done a great job at training her to not jump. She gets so excited when people come in.
She really does.
Yeah, she does. And women.
Yes.
She loves
You did
the
say
vagine.
Oh, wow.
She does. When people, when females come in, she goes friggin' bananas.
She's like, God damn it, ladies, I'm stuck with this testosterone bullshit all day, air day.
Yeah.
And I need
air day.
some air day.
Air day.
And I need me some estrogen.
I need my
That's it.
sisters.
I need my sisters.
Sisters in the house.
Let me tell you, you know who else is a pandemic dog?
Who?
Kaya.
Oh, yeah. But Kaya's a street dog, and she's
Yes.
also like 6 years older than Riva.
True. But she was always super chill.
Yeah.
She
Riva's not
jumps.
chill.
She jumps. She does do that. And she kisses you in the sucker like when you're not ready
Who,
for it.
Riva?
Kaya.
Oh,
She'll be
okay.
like, you'll be petting her because she knows how to be cute, right? She
Yeah.
knows how to beg for food. So you'll be petting her and you'll be near her face and you'll be like, you're such a good girl. And she'll just slip you that tongue.
Yeah, Riva's like
Just
that.
slip you the tongue.
But
Yeah.
okay, so enough about the dogs.
Oh.
What other love were you talking about, though?
I was talking about the love that you gave me. You were all
Yeah.
lovey-dovey with me today.
I was.
I liked it.
I'm feeling something.
Do we want to go upstairs for a few minutes?
No, I'm not feeling that.
Okay. All right.
No, it's
Fine.
the
Fuck you. I didn't want it anyways.
you couldn't handle it.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
Do you
You're not gonna like this.
remember
You're not gonna like
when
this,
we
okay?
met?
There was a time when you, me, and one of our friends, previous friends, were hanging out at my condo.
Mhm.
I think we were baking cookies or something. We were doing something all together. I don't even
What?
know if I should say this. Either that or we were in the car. My brain sometimes mixes memories up. But there was a time when the three of us were together and we were all joking around and stuff. And you got a little bit excited.
Did I?
You got a little bit, yeah. And we were making fun of it. We were like, what's this, Mike? Are you excited? You just happy to see us. And we're like tapping at it.
Oh, yeah,
Tapping
I
at
do
it,
kind of
yeah.
recall that. Yeah, okay. Well, not in my defense, but just not that little listeners need to know this sort of
Yeah.
thing. But
Well,
I-
you know.
on a streetcar, any kind of vibration,
Oh,
that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
it's still activates things.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
Men
You know?
are disgusting.
No, I still got it, baby.
Oh, is that it? I think it
Listen.
was that we still got it.
I think if you're going to accuse me of being disgusting, we could go through the back catalog and find out how many times
Listen.
you've shared.
Yes.
Mhm.
I make no apologies for it. I'm disgusting. Okay. I have had some very, very shady moments in my life. I told
That's
everybody
not
about the
shade.
time just questionable moments. I told everybody about the time I had to use my backyard as a toilet, didn't I?
Oh my God, no, I don't know if we've heard this one.
Did we not? Well,
Oh,
we're already digressing
Jesus.
so much. Maybe that's a story for another day.
Let's
save that one for another day.
Okay.
But I have a question for you. I mean, hypothetical question
Yeah.
for you, Mike. Okay. Supposing you're in a situation, let's just say there's a person, okay, who's toasted a lovely English muffin.
Okay.
Lovely English muffin. And has
Is that
put
a
some nice-
euphemism?
No, like I'm talking about a real English muffin.
Okay.
Get your mind and your pee-pee out of the gutter, okay? So this person has prepared this amazing English muffins, toasted perfectly, put some nice little cashew spread on it, and then some nice raspberry jam, and they're eating it and they're enjoying it, and then part of it falls onto the carpet.
Oh.
And obviously it falls face down.
Of course.
Obviously,
Of course.
always.
Yeah.
Does this person eat the English muffin or do they throw it out? Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking, if that person, it depends on that person. If
No,
that person
just say
was
a
me,
person. Okay, yeah.
if it was me,
yeah,
that would be a hard no. I
right.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Not with wet
obviously.
stuff. If it's like a cookie, if it's something dry, then fine. But if it's like anything with icing or creamy stuff, anything that stuff can stick to it, that's a hard no for me.
Yeah.
You did it, didn't you?
No, it happened, and it was like my last 2 bites.
And it was delicious.
It was so
It
delicious.
was a little extra crunchy.
I was like looking at it. I was sitting at our dining table, and
that
Danielle
is
was
the
sitting on the
worst.
sofa, and it dropped, and I looked at it on the floor, and then I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she's like, "You're going to eat it, aren't you?" And I said, "I think I am." And I did.
But the thing is, like, you guys have like cats and dogs.
That was evident on the last bite.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
There was some hair.
No. You know what? Actually, I did buy a cookie from a cafe the other day. And when
A cookie, Mike? Are you possible of buying a cookie?
Yeah. When I broke the cookie open, you break a piece of cookie off and you pull it apart. A hair was in between the 2 pieces of cookie.
Oh, bleh.
Did I eat the cookie?
No.
Yes, I did.
Mike!
You know me and cookies. I love cookies.
Mike,
I did.
that's more disgusting, I think, than what I did. Because at least I know where my hairs came
It was
from.
baked in.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Anyways,
All right,
moving
okay.
on. Moving on.
Mike, you had sent me a podcast to listen to, which I found quite hilarious.
Oh my God.
I love those people.
Yes.
And tell the folks the name.
The name of this podcast is called Shagged, Married, and
Annoyed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shagged, Married, and Annoyed.
Yes.
Very funny.
Very funny.
These 2 are hilarious.
Podcast hosted by a married couple. And I was like, I recognize this. When I looked at the photo, I was like, I recognize that guy because his name he's a British, a UK comedian, Chris Ramsey, who was on a series of Taskmaster, like an episode, sorry, they call them series there instead of seasons. He was on a series of Taskmaster, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And these 2 are so funny on that podcast.
They are.
And I realize what we're missing, Mike.
What's that?
We have
British accent.
We have boring accents.
Oh, no.
It's no bueno, our accents. So boring and so
I don't know. Well, okay, listeners from other countries, tell us whether our accent. Listeners from other countries,
don't change that. Let them hear how you flub the lines. People, do you want to know something? Do you know how many times Mike, first of all, Mike can't read, okay? Last episode, he was trying to read something.
You are cutting me down. Jesus.
I'm just being honest. I feel like we need to be honest with our listeners.
Yeah, okay. Listeners, honesty here
is the best policy.
Yeah. At the time of recording, it is Good Friday.
You love that. You love saying that.
It's Good Friday. And you wouldn't think so because Priya's being bad on Good Friday. It's not bad
Christian.
Friday.
I ain't no Christian. I'm celebrating bunnies and hunts. No, that's not. That sounds terrible.
Honeys and bunts. Okay.
Honeys and bunts?
And blunts. Okay.
Anyways.
So what were we talking about?
We were talking about how last week when you were trying to read.
We don't have accents.
Yes, also. But then we were talking about how you were trying to read something last week and you had to stop and reread it like, I'd say 7 times.
Actually, I wasn't talking about that. You brought that up.
I did bring that
I'm trying to move on.
Okay. I know why you're trying to move on. Okay, move on. Let's move on.
They'll get it next time, like in this episode when I'm trying to read some of the stuff that
I know, but what you do is because you're in charge of the editing, you so conveniently cut all of that out so that you sound very coherent and very well read.
I don't.
When the truth is, it took you 7 times to read a sentence.
Listen,
Mike.
lady. I make you sound coherent as well.
Okay, Mike,
It's
what's
the
in
gift
our...
of editing. Gift of editing.
Do we have any feedback from
Yes,
listeners?
yes. We got some feedback from little listeners. We got a couple of
I'm so
messages.
excited. A couple?
Yeah.
Oh
So
God! Wait
I
a
want
second.
to
Can we
read
just
them
have
out.
a moment? Can we have a
Yeah.
moment?
Mhm.
We're getting feedback.
We are.
Like
It's
by,
happening.
by email?
And text.
Oh, okay. Text is,
But
we've been
I
having the
know.
text.
I
But
know.
emails are so exciting, Mike.
Yes, it's
Let's
happening.
high five for this. High five. Oh, what? Ow,
There we go.
fuck, that was a near miss.
Okay.
Okay.
So, first message from one of
Yeah.
our little listeners, Anonymous.
Oh,
I wanted to let you know. Oh,
anonymous.
here we go. Well, I didn't ask them for permission to give their
I see.
to read
Okay,
them
okay.
out, so I'm saying they're
Okay.
anonymous. So,
no, that's
so
fine.
little listeners, if you want to send us messages, but you are concerned about us
Saying your name.
saying your name, then you could just say,
Make up
please
a
make
name.
it anonymous, or make it anonymous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or make up a name, but don't do that. No, just do whatever you want to do. Just send us a
Oh,
goddamn
my
message.
That's the moral of the story.
Okay, can I read them?
Yes, please.
I'm going to try to read them. I wanted to let you know I listened to the Guilty Pleasures podcast. Love the repartee between. See,
Here
I
we
screwed it
go.
up.
Here we go.
Okay. Love the repartee with Priya and the mixture of sassiness and heartfelt
Oh.
honesty. Listening to you two talk about Christian rock was revelatory. A very poignant show.
Ah,
Isn't that
that's
lovely?
so sweet. I want to know who wrote that.
I'll tell you about
Okay,
it
you tell
after.
me later.
Mhm.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you, whoever that is, anonymous. It would be so fun though if it was like from I don't know, like a crazy, made up name, or from a little listener who loves you, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I love that piece of feedback, because we always enjoy positive feedback.
We do. Any feedback.
Any feedback.
We enjoy any feedback. And so we also received an
Yes.
email, and this email says, "Hi Priya and Mike. I've listened to a few of your podcasts and have been loving them so far. Your voice and demeanor on the podcast are so cute. I think you're both awesome and look forward to hearing all of the podcasts. I'm a big music person and always listen to the lyrics of songs that I like. So this podcast is really speaking to me."
Oh, I love that. Who's that one from?
Hang on.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you ever want a listener's input or extra ideas, feel free to let me know. Keep spreading the joy.
Thank you. From?
No, I'm not going to say the name because again, I didn't ask these people if I could
Okay.
read them out, so I
Okay.
don't want to.
Okay, well, thank you, whoever wrote that, anonymous number 2. Yes, and if we ever want a listener's input,
or extra ideas for shizzle.
we are begging for it every week. Listen, we love it. Thank you. That brings our email grand total to 2.
Yes, yeah,
And that's
not
amazing.
bad. 28 episodes in.
Yeah, 2 for 2. Last week and this week we've had emails. Oh, please,
emails,
please,
messages.
please let this be a snowball effect.
Well, we actually had 3 last episode.
But they weren't emails. I'm just saying
Oh,
emails.
I see.
Our
Yeah,
email
yeah.
inbox until last week was basically crickets.
Right. So I wanted to tell you something else about something that happened.
Okay.
So we were at a birthday party, a friend's 60th birthday party last
Right.
weekend.
Hold on, I got an itch. Right behind where this headphone is. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
You ready?
Sorry.
All right. Went to this 60th birthday party, and in the cohort, like basically, we're going to a 60th birthday party. So all of our friends are starting. Like, I'm going to be 56 this year. We're all within that window between
that
mid
just feels
50s.
weird.
I know it is
It
weird.
feels weird to me to say that.
Okay,
to
so
hear you say that.
it is weird. And we were actually standing around talking about like, oh, I can't believe we're at a 60th birthday
Yeah.
party. A friend of ours is turning 60 because, we're a bunch of fun-loving, youthful gays.
Okay.
And so anyways, we were talking about music and someone made a reference to Stephen Tintin Duffy.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. So I asked them, I said,
Did you know who that was?
yeah. And
Okay.
if you listen to our back episodes,
Did we talk
you'll
about
know. Yeah, there's a little bit of something in there, but I will explain it now. So I said to this group of guys, we were standing around, I said, Stephen Tintin Duffy, I said, do any of you know which big 80s band he was a founding member of and the first lead singer of?
Oh, geez, I feel
And
like
they
I
were
should
like,
know this.
no. I said, Duran Duran.
Oh, okay. Wow, we talked about that recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no real
So
recollection of that.
one of our friends, he was like, oh, you're probably not going to get this, but do you know where Duran Duran got the name of their song, their band?
Why, yes, we do.
Yeah. So I said, well, actually, yes, I do. Got it from the movie Barbarella.
Yeah.
And how do I know that? Because we talked about it on our podcast. And they're like, you have a podcast?
Oh.
So I introduced the podcast to
To a
this group
whole
of people.
new crowd of people.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that some of them start listening.
Yeah. So so the interesting thing about that for me was that, what we're doing with this podcast, the way we, decide our themes and then we do some research, I probably wouldn't have known
That's
the answer
true.
to those questions if we hadn't done a podcast on
That's
Duran
very
Duran.
true.
So not only are we entertaining, but we're
educating.
informative. Yes.
Oh my God. You know what I like to call that?
What?
Edutainment.
Edutainment.
Yes.
Yeah,
that
let's
is the
not
new
call it
category.
that, though.
Oh.
No, you could call it that. That's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
So I wanted to just share that with you because I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, again, I hope that they start listening. And if they do, please send us some feedback. Oh, also, first of all,
Can I just tell you?
yes.
One of those pieces of feedback is from somebody who was actually in that circle of guys that we're talking to. So
okay.
yes. So
there are some listeners in that group.
Yeah. And they listened, and then one of them sent feedback.
Yay! Well. Also, did that person also subscribe, like, share, or follow us?
I don't know, but you know what? He can.
Yes.
If you are listening to this episode,
Yeah.
and if you've listened to any other episodes,
Yeah.
please like,
Please do.
subscribe,
Uh-huh.
follow,
Share.
give us stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
What
would
is that?
love-
Rate
Rate us, yes.
We're rateable.
We're rateable. Yes, folks. Please do all of the above so that we can stop bugging you to do that and get on with the show.
Yeah.
So let's get on with the show,
Let's
folks.
get on with the show.
Yeah, Mike, why don't you tell our little listeners what we're going to be going on and on and on about today?
Yes. Okay. So I was thinking about, well, when we think about the themes for our episodes,
Yes.
one of the things that I try to do is I look at like what are the different days, the international this and blah, blah, blah. It's insane when you look up what the
I
different.
had no idea.
Yeah. Okay. So this day, when this recording goes out, it's
Yes.
going to be April 23rd.
Mhm.
If I get it right, because little listeners, I also apologize. I don't know what the hell happened, but in the last two episodes, they went out on a Tuesday rather than a Wednesday.
Oh my God, stop the presses.
No, but I don't know why.
How
Okay.
dare
Anyways, so so when this episode comes out, it'll be hopefully April 23rd, which
It
is a
might be
Wednesday.
the 22nd,
It might be
guys.
the 22nd.
Please don't listen to it till the 23rd. Please don't.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Well, on April 23rd,
Uh-huh.
it is Slay a Dragon Day.
Yes.
But it's also St. George's Day. So Slay a Dragon Day and St. George's Day are actually, they're kind of sister days.
Who's
of one
St.
another.
George?
St. George is the patron saint of England. He was a warrior
Okay.
in like 2nd or 3rd BC.
Mm-hmm.
And the folklore is that he slayed a dragon. If we have any
Oh.
English listeners, they're going to be like, I've totally butchered the story.
Okay.
But basically, he slayed a dragon, saved a town and a princess, and he was the patron saint of England.
Okay. Hold on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a fable, right?
Well, he actually was a real person. He was a
Okay.
warrior, but I think the dragon thing has to be
That's
fable
what I'm
because
saying.
they're not real, right?
Well, there's right. I mean,
Are
dragons
dragons ever
have
real?
never existed, right?
They haven't.
No, come on, don't be ridiculous. Of course they haven't.
But there are dragons.
No, there's the Komodo dragon.
Yeah. So there are dragons.
But that's just not a fire-breathing flying creature. If he killed a Komodo dragon, that's not nearly as exciting as him killing something from Game of Thrones.
It's true. That's true. I have no idea because I don't think that there were any, Instagram posts about it back then.
It just sounds like a Disney movie. Like he slayed a dragon and then freed the princess. And also, why did he free he freed the princess from the dragon?
Well, the dragon was threatening the village
Threatening the village. Okay. Did he bounce chicka wow wow with the princess?
I don't know.
Well, then why would he care to free her?
That's not part of the fable.
Okay,
anyways,
fine. Let's move along.
April 23rd, slay a dragon.
And so we decided to talk about songs too.
Yeah, so Slay a Dragon is a spirited and fun celebration encouraging people to tackle their challenges.
Mm-hmm.
This day is not about mythical dragons, but about facing fears and overcoming obstacles. It's a unique opportunity to take on something daunting and emerge victorious, feeling empowered and accomplished. Celebrating Slay a Dragon Day highlights the importance of confronting what holds us back. Whether it's a difficult task, a bad habit, or a fear, this day motivates us to address and conquer it. And it made me think about you and your exercising and how you hate doing it. And
I haven't done it yet.
But that's okay.
I'm going to get there, Mike. I swear to God.
April 23rd is the day that you do
Okay,
that.
that's the day next week.
April 23rd, once a year, you need to exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just compliment you on getting through that?
I know. I did. I almost did it without too many mistakes.
Yes, and we're gonna air the unedited version of that.
It depends on how long we jabber on
for,
because we've already been going for 30 minutes.
We've been going for 30 minutes talking about nonsense?
Yeah, already. Although there was a lot of prelude.
Okay.
Anyways. Okay.
Let's move it along.
So that's Slay the Dragon. So when I pitched this idea to you, what was your response?
Let's go back to the text messages where I was uncertain with the.
You were like,
okay, I said I don't know how to pick songs that relate to Slay a Dragon Day.
Yeah. And I was like, did you click the link and read what I was about? You're like, oh no, I didn't see that.
Yes, that's right. You said, yeah. And I said, no, I didn't see that. Sure, we can do that. I won't have much time to. Okay, but that's bullshit.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about that. Okay. Once I understood what the theme was, then we were on the.
I think it's
then
a
we were
great
okay.
theme.
Because I sent you this voice memo asking for clarification, which said,
clarification.
Hey, just making sure we're on the same page for the episode, like slaying your dragons, like inner demons. Is this like songs that kind of like help you overcome obstacles, that pump you up? Is it that kind of song? Because I'm thinking of songs like Lose Yourself.
Okay. Anyways, that's when I kind of comprehended what we're talking about. And you were like, exactly, we be on the same track, yo. Mike likes to pretend he's ghetto.
I do.
Sometimes.
I am kind of ghetto. I'm gay ghetto.
Also, I do love that you're wearing your uniform.
I'm wearing this for you. Yep, I'm wearing my special sweatshirt. It's the most comfortable sweatshirt I have, but we've already talked about that. We're not going to go on.
Well, I think okay, fine. We just need to.
All right, so slay dragon, bitch.
Let's slay some dragons. Okay. My first song, and I think you said you have this. Actually, no. So I won't start with that one because I know you have it on your list too.
All right, so once we confirmed we were going to do this theme, what came to mind for you about, how were you going to approach?
Yes. Well, then I just started
research.
My research. Well, and then obviously, then songs started coming to me. I was like, oh, okay. And the first song that came to my head was "Fight Song."
Oh yeah.
By Rachel Platten, which then I had to go into looking her up because I was like, who's she? And is she a one-hit wonder? I don't know.
Oh,
maybe. Could have.
When did that song come out?
2015.
Okay, I was going to say 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago now. I love this song, and
this is my fight song.
Take back my life song. Prove I'm all right song. My power's turned on. Starting right now, I'll be strong. Like that. I love that song so much. It is a real pump you up. We're going to pump you up. You remember where that's from?
Yeah. No, I don't remember where it's from.
I'm
Hans and I'm Franz.
Yes.
And we're here to pump
You Up. Yeah, from SNL. I just love this song because it really is a pump you up song and just like get that shit done. Yes.
Okay. And so were you thinking at all about your own obstacles or like songs that like, because one of the things that I started thinking about was, like I was trying to think back to times in my life where I was feeling a bit like stuck or whatever,
Yeah.
and nothing like not like always existential stuck. Like sometimes it's like I'm on the couch and I'm not motivated to whatever, right? Because I think once we talked about playlists, and I was talking about how music on an exercise playlist can like totally change the way you feel or how much you give to your exercise,
just change your energy, change your mindset.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I started thinking about when I was thinking about this theme as well. I'm like, oh yeah. And then
this is definitely a song that used to be on my workout playlist, like when I used to run on the treadmill. I don't run on the treadmill anymore because of my goddamn trochanteric bursitis in my hip.
Jesus.
I'm 53, folks. It's all falling apart.
Get out that red laser.
So yeah, I gotta get that. I do gotta get that red light therapy laser out. Yeah. So I used to listen to this song because it really did. It just when you're on that treadmill and you're thinking, okay, I don't want to run. I just don't want to keep running. But this song was always one of those songs, and Firework by Katy Perry. Like those kinds of songs would just really, the beat, like the driving beat, like really helped me kind of push through in a workout mode, in regards to working out.
What was going on in 2015 for you? What were you doing?
2015. That's a great question. I was going to the gym regularly, I think.
But...
I mean, but it's just like...
it's a question. It's not that great.
I mean, I can't remember.
That's a great question.
Mike, I can't remember what we talked about last week.
And you want me...
want me to go back 10 years.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. Okay.
I was still in a relationship. So anyways, I was still going to I was more regular with the gym. So that's why I'm thinking about this song in terms of the exercise, because I was much more regular with my exercise back then. And I would like to get back to that point now. So I think I'm going to have to create a new playlist and this will be on it.
Okay. So one of the things that I noticed when I was looking at songs...
Wikipedia?
Yeah, Wikipedia and also in the Google response to songs about overcoming obstacles. When I was listening to some of them, one of the things that I definitely noticed that was common between them all was there was a lot of... They were upbeat and they were really... like motivational.
Right.
So, and one song that I hadn't heard in a long time, or I hadn't even thought about, was Move Along by the All American Rejects from 2006.
Sing me a bit.
When everything is wrong, you move along. Right back what is wrong, you move along.
I don't know that song.
It's like the music is really like it really pumps you up and it really gets going. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember this. But the songs that initially came to mind were What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, Stand a Little Taller.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm a Survivor, all of those songs.
But like those are like they're like really pump, like the music's really
they're
motivational, anthemic, like they really get you going, which totally makes sense given the theme,
For
right?
sure.
Like the purpose of the song is, or not the purpose, but the theme of the song is singing about overcoming obstacles. Although one of them was Miley Cyrus, and that's not necessarily, that's more of a ballad.
Yeah, and
So-
that's a great one.
Yeah. So anyways, my rambling point being, I thought it was interesting.
Was it interesting, Mike?
I say that a lot, I've noticed. I liked that a lot of the songs had really upbeat music that went with the theme of overcoming obstacles.
I mean, but are you saying that you didn't like the ones that were a bit less?
No, it's not that I didn't like them. It's just when you were talking about Fight Song and how that,
Yes.
got you going, then that's what made me think of this.
Yeah, you know what? Just thinking about those two kind of lanes, like the really pump you up anthemic sort of epic songs versus the softer ballad songs. It kind of depends on what mood you're in, right? Like if you're feeling sort of like if you're at the gym and you need to just kind of keep that energy going, or you need a song to kind of pump you up in that way, then sure, those fast-paced songs are perfect. But sometimes you're kind of in a rut. You're just like in a mental, emotional, physical rut. And you're on that sofa and you're watching that fifth hour of Netflix that feels so good, but you feel like shit because you know you should be getting up.
Yeah.
You know you should be getting up. And I feel like in those times, songs like The Climb are kind of more appropriate or maybe more influential.
Yeah, because that one is, that is a ballad. And how does it go?
I can almost see it.
Right.
That dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that song, yeah. What's interesting about that song, too, for me is...
Is it interesting?
Oh, fuck, I keep saying interesting. Well, I was thinking about that song and comparing it to this other one that is a big hit that I'm sure everybody knows. I sang a little bit of it. Survivor. No, Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
Right.
And the Eye of the Tiger song is about, like perseverance and, fighting and, taking down the weak and coming out on top. Whereas The Climb is about the journey and it's about the it's like it's not a race.
And it's not about the other person. It's about dealing with your own, like conquering your own voice. That is like, don't bother.
Yeah, well, Eye of the Tiger is your own as well, right? It's about your own perseverance and rising up back on the street. Have you
took my chances?
Did you do you know what the video's like? Have you watched the video lately?
No, but I
lately.
Like, I imagine it's just scenes from Rocky.
No, there are actually no scenes from Rocky in the video. Yeah, but it's hilarious to watch because it's just it came out in 1982, which is right when MTV started. So the production values of the videos weren't
not so great.
Yeah, but it was hilarious to watch. Yeah,
I do love that song, and we actually. I think we played that in band in like grade 9. I was playing trumpet.
Yeah. I totally remember that song though when I was growing up.
Amazing song.
Yeah, it was one of those songs on the cassette tape. Some friends that lived down the street, Simon and Matthew. Matthew got this little boom box for his birthday and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. So I asked for one.
Did you guys break dance?
No, I didn't do that. Okay. I didn't break dance. No, we would sometimes try and do the Michael Jackson Thriller dance. Because
that's how I got my hip bursitis.
Is it?
That's how I got
Jackson?
Yes. My friends Kelsey, I'm sorry to interrupt. My friends Kelsey and Scott and I were doing it was a month-long 4 classes to learn the Thriller dance before Halloween.
Oh.
And so we learned it, but when he kind of he sinks into his hip. And anyways,
that's
move,
how you got your bursitis?
I felt and heard a little snap. Yeah, and ever since then, I've had an issue with my hip.
Huh, interesting.
That was 20 years ago.
You and Scott and Kelsey were
almost 20 years
learning the dance 20 years ago?
Yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do you remember that time that we went and did ballroom dancing?
Yes. Well, it was Latin dancing mostly.
No,
right?
it was ballroom.
What ballroom styles did we learn?
I don't know because I was
Salsa,
goofing off
merengue,
the whole time.
It was all Latin dancing.
No, it wasn't. It was ballroom.
Did we do anything like the Venetian waltz or anything?
Yes.
Did we do the waltz?
You did salsa dancing with somebody else.
Okay, let's sidetrack this conversation.
No,
we're going to talk about it after.
Yeah. Okay.
Your brain.
Moving on. Anyways.
Okay. Do you have a song you want to talk about? Actually, I want to talk about another ballad because I think most of the songs that we have. Probably. Why are you laughing?
Do you have a song you want to... Actually, I want to talk about.
I just want to talk some more.
Just talk some more.
I just want to have my own podcast where I can just all be myself talking
I know.
all the time.
That's what's going to happen. It's true.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vi. I know I'm cutting your son off.
No,
okay,
you go ahead. What was your other ballad?
Do you know this song? Because I feel like a lot of people might not know this song. It's called When You Believe. It was from the Prince of Egypt soundtrack. It's a song with Mariah and Whitney.
How does it go?
Who knows what miracles
when
you can achieve.
Yes.
When you believe, somehow you will.
Who else sang that with Mariah? There's a
Whitney. I just said that.
No, wasn't there a boy band, like a black boy band, like Boys to Men or something
That's
like that?
the End of the Road.
Oh,
and that was
okay,
Boys
yeah.
to Men.
That's right. Yes,
and
yeah.
Whitney and Mariah. Yes.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I got that wrong. Okay.
But this song is actually a really good song about overcoming obstacles, and it's all about Prince of Egypt, the story of Moses. Beautiful movie, and just a great song with two of the most incredible voices.
It's interesting how ballads stood out for you.
Is it interesting, Mike?
Damn it! Sorry.
Well, it's not.
I find it curious that,
Yes.
that ballads stood out for you. Whereas I'm like, the ones that stood out for me were bow wow.
Yeah.
This ain't a song for the broken hearted.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say ballads stood out, but those two ballads were on my.
Won't bend, won't break, baby, don't back down. It's my life. It's now or never. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm like all about the like banging it, and it's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rivals.
Yes, all of those ones. That's why I just wanted to end. I wanted to say this is the other ballad that I thought kind of suited the. And then the third and fourth ballads. No, I have no more ballads. I have no more ballads. But what? Why don't you tell us one of those like fast-paced songs then?
Well, I just did.
Okay. Do you not want to talk about them? Or
No. I don't really. I don't
have anything to say.
I don't really have like.
All right, let me talk some more.
I know. No, I was thinking more about like, what are these songs like? Why am I attracted to these kinds of songs? And it's probably, common that they're written to be inspirational or, whatever.
The beat it really gets into your body too, right?
But when you're talking about ballads, like those are also inspirational songs about the same themes.
Right.
And so what is it about the kind of song that you get that gravitational pull? And is it that like when you think about when you heard them or like what you were going through in your life or something like that?
Do you know what I think it is?
What?
It's the lyrics, bitch.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because
although some of them are a bit. What was that? I read a review on the Miley Cyrus one.
Saying what? I mean, I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. I mean, I think that's something that we can all relate to at times when we are our own worst enemies, right? Who's dissing her? Come on, bring it, bitch.
In Wikipedia.
Oh, Lord.
Critical reception for this song was generally positive.
Okay.
Fraser McAlpine of the BBC felt the song's lyrics were generic, but complimented Cyrus's vocals. Quote, Miley acquits herself well vocally. There are moments where her voice sounds a tad strained, but it's good to hear her on a track that's a little more subdued and with less frantic production than the up-tempo sassy pop songs we're used to. But then there's another one in here, and generally the reviews were good. But one of them was, Todd Martins of the Los Angeles Times believed that The Climb was buried in cheese and described it as pre-Valentine's Day gooiness.
Okay.
However, Martin said The Climb is a rare Miley ballad that's on par with some of her more spunky teen pop. So he did have a little bit of both.
Okay.
But I love that. It's like, I love it when he said it's buried in cheese. Because it is kind of cheesy.
It is. There's nothing super original about some of the, images that she puts in your head. Like there's always going to be another mountain. I'm always going to want to make it move. Always going to be an uphill battle. Yes. Okay. Like those are not totally original lyrics. Does remind me of another song that is on my list, Long Live by Taylor.
Right.
Where she says, Long live all the mountains we moved. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. So that has both of those.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well done. Okay, babe, before we get too deep into that, I want to go back to the Miley Cyrus song because one of the things that I learned when I was looking up this song was the writers of the song, the one writer, she said that she was driving home and this melody, this tune was in her head and she needed to get home quickly because she wanted to get it down.
Okay.
And when she wrote the song and then they pitched it, they're trying to make it in the music industry. And she said it was hard. And partly what inspired her, the inspiration for this song was around the challenges of trying to make it in the music industry.
Okay.
So the actual song and the lyrics
is about her own experience.
Is about her own experience. And then when she pitched the song to Disney and they decided that this song was going to be perfect for the Miley Cyrus movie.
Okay.
They asked her to rewrite some of the lyrics and kind of, make a few changes. And they struggled, the writers of the song struggled with making the changes because they felt like it might take away the meaning that they were trying to convey through the original song. But the song became such a huge hit. And because it was so integral to the movie, like the song itself was a part of the entire narrative of Miley's character in the movie.
What movie?
Hannah Montana, the
okay.
movie.
Hannah Montana movie. Okay.
And that it actually changed these writers' lives because it became a super hit.
Right. That's kind of
so
neat,
it's like it's kind of cool that this song that started out as this kind of melody and something in this person's head, who and her co-writer, like they wrote a song about their own struggles. And then it fit perfectly with this movie theme, and then it actually
was a self-fulfilling prophecy in a
Yeah.
way. Like that's really cool
That's
story.
kind of great, eh?
That is a great story.
Yeah,
I like that. And I do love that song, even if it does have sort of, I don't know, like not super original lyrics. I think the lyrics are relatable, extremely relatable.
One of the things that I've learned as we've been doing this podcast, and I've been reading reviews of songs that we're going to talk about, and things that have been written about them by professionals that know music and write about music. I don't know a freaking thing about music.
Well,
Other
it's
than,
not your field.
No, I know, but it's like when I read some of these comments about the songs, it's like it's one thing for me as a layperson. It's like I know what I like. A song might make me feel a certain way. But then when I read some of these reviews and I read the way people interpret or what they say about the lyrics or the structure of a song or something, I think, holy shit, man, like they're able to articulate sometimes things that I'm picking up.
Right.
But there's other stuff that they say and I'm like, okay, well, that's like a bit too over analytical. Like it's just a fucking pop song. But what do I know?
Right. I love reading music journalists writing about certain songs. Like when you read Rolling Stone magazine, when you read some of those articles, they do go so in depth and they have such a wide ranging knowledge of music in general. So the way they relate things is just to me fascinating. It's like, oh my God, how did you make the connection between that lyric in that song by that artist to another song 20 years ago by a completely different artist, different genre? Like it is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting reading.
We learning, little listeners. We learning.
We're edutaining you.
Okay, so oh, Jesus. Way to go.
Yeah, I tried to sneak it in.
Yeah. Okay, so you segued into our girl Tay.
Oh, I did, yes, because I actually thought of that song because of the Fighting Dragons line. But then when we were talking about the generic lyrics of The Climb, I just thought that was funny that they both talk about moving mountains.
Right.
But sometimes that is what it feels like, right? We crashed through. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you.
Right, yeah.
Yes, it's as I've said before on the podcast, one of my favorite Taylor songs that I would play every time I'm on the island. And you know what? The island opens up in like 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow. And so for little listeners, what is the island? What is this island you refer to?
Center Island in Toronto, which is like a very short 10-minute, not even 10-minute ferry ride from downtown Toronto. And it's just a beautiful place to
It's a big park,
be.
really.
Yeah,
Although
it's a big
there's
park.
houses there.
There are houses on one end. And then I take Kaya there a couple of times a week, and we just have a great time walking along the boardwalk in the sun. And she's kind of doing her thing. I let her off leash, and she's just loving it. We're on the boardwalk, and I listen to that song every time, and it just makes me. It is a special me and Kaya song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
It's coming up, and you know what that also made me think of, Mike? Because
What?
the island's opening up May. It made me think of we're not too far from our 1 year anniversary.
It's true. Yeah. Because we launched in November, but we started developing in August.
In August.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're a bit far.
We'll do something special
We'll
when
do
we're.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. Okay.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Of the obstacles you've faced in your 53 years, what is one that stands out the most?
You know, I was thinking. I was thinking of that in more like general terms, in terms of like, what are things I've had to overcome, or when have I had to overcome things in my life? And I mean, truthfully, all the time, all the time. I don't know how to answer what was my most challenging obstacle, but I will say that I feel like I am more capable of overcoming obstacles now. So I definitely think age has been great for that, because when you're younger, and maybe this is different now, maybe the world that kids are growing up now in now is different. But for myself, I feel, and specifically being a woman, maybe being a woman of color, whatever, that
You're a woman of color?
I know, just on the outside. I'm a coconut.
You coconut.
Yeah.
You're a peanut.
I'm a peanut, but
That's not having nothing to do with color. That's just play
a
on your
nickname
name.
for me. I feel like as women, young women, you're just often silenced. Like your voice is not really, and I have found that in work.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. No, I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke.
Oh,
Okay.
I get it. I get the
Get
joke
it?
now.
Yeah.
Yes. But I do, yeah. So I feel like I'm more capable of dealing with obstacles and overcoming them, because I think that in my situation, a lot of the obstacles have been my own creation. Like I can't do this, or I can't talk about that, or I can't approach that person. And it's like, but why not? Why can't I? So I think that I'm able to do that more nowadays. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it many times. I think there's two things that come to mind for me. And one is coming out was, a big obstacle. I've talked ad nauseum about that.
Not at nauseum, and I don't think you can ever over talk about it.
Well, I think more interesting is, I think the other thing though is the daily obstacles, like the
Like who makes the coffee?
No, it's like what you were talking about, like the kind of that internal
Dialogue.
those internal dialogue, the internal restrictions we put on ourselves, and the constant processing of trying to balance, trying to figure out who I am and whether I care about what other people think in every instance, right?
Yes.
Because there's, I'm constantly trying to figure myself
isn't it?
out. Oh, totally.
Constantly worrying about other people, what other people will think.
Yeah. And I think there's one of the things that I've learned more about myself as I've gotten older is that's actually, it's more interesting and exciting for me to be tuned into thinking, like to be consciously thinking about my own personal development. I don't know how to articulate it, but when I was younger, it was more about, and still a little bit now, but it was more about worrying about the way people perceive me. And now, but it's about being liked and being, but that back then it was about being liked. It was about wanting to fit in, all those sorts of things.
For sure. Yeah.
Some of that is still there, but it seems like it's more now about, who am I and what makes me tick and what's important to me? Like it's more values driven. Values have always been an important part of my conscious and like thinking about myself. I think I have, pretty strong core values. Sometimes I'm not, sometimes I compromise those. And so now as I've gotten older, it's more about, okay, well, why did I compromise that? Like, what led to that? Like, what are the elements that led to the whatever insecurity that allowed me to compromise that value, knowing that I'm not going to feel good about myself afterwards after I have
Right.
some reflection and that sort of thing. So that's the part of it for me that
The
I find
beauty
interesting.
of age.
Yeah.
Right? I think like we complain a lot about the like aches and pains that we get and the can't believe when we look in the mirror that we are the age that we are. But that is one of
It's all superficial stuff,
it
right?
is. And you know what? I think we look fucking amazing also. So I will say that.
In the right lighting, yes, I do.
But one of the, like, we don't often talk about the good stuff about growing older. And I definitely think like confidence and not caring so much what people think. Like, I care that people think I'm a good person, but I don't care that they think, oh, I can't believe that she complained at work about that. I'm like, if I need to stand up for myself or for other people, I will do it. And I won't worry so much about what other people think. So I think that's a good thing about age. Now, okay. You asked me what was one of the biggest things. And I realized like you have talked a lot about coming out and that's a big thing for you. And, you know, I haven't talked about this and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will say that I think probably the biggest obstacle I ever had in my life was dealing with some abuse, right? That was in my childhood. And so, no, don't apologize. Mike is shaking his head and he's like, I'm sorry.
I did not mean to
I did not
bring
need
this
to
up.
talk about this.
Yeah.
You're never forcing me to talk about it. But I do think it's important because as I was talking about women being silenced, I think that it is often like we learn to be silenced about people touching us when we don't feel comfortable with it, about guys who we are maybe dating or maybe we know very well, but if they do something that we're not comfortable with, like, oh, you're overreacting or don't talk about that. So I had a situation in my childhood that was, you know, where I felt compromised on an ongoing basis. And I just shoveled that away for years and years and years and years and years and years. And it was only when I started doing therapy in 2000 and I think like 2 actually. And I was in therapy for several years before I even acknowledged what had happened because I just wanted to fix myself without having to deal with that. And something happened and I was like, I got the flu. Like my body just, I don't really get sick that often. My entire body broke down. I was so sick. I could barely like feed myself. And I called my therapist. I didn't have an appointment. And I called her and I said, I need to tell you something. And that's when I told her what had happened, right? And that then finally opened the door to me actually being able to deal with shit because I couldn't deal with stuff if I was not addressing like the root of what made me the person that I am. So
and maybe if I may, like, maybe it was also like the obstacle that was preventing you from moving beyond.
And I think that has a lot to do with why I'm still single. I think it has a lot to do with my relationships with men afterwards, like any romantic relationship I had. I only ever mentioned the abuse to my most recent partner. It was never something I could talk about. And I've told certain friends, like obviously you know, and certain friends of mine know, but it was like really something that I just silenced. And then when I actually confronted the person and the people around that, I was more silenced, right?
Yeah.
They were just like, well, you know, these things happen.
Well, they tried.
They tried.
But the difference is you're not silenced.
That, yes, I knew then that was my truth. And for a long time, I actually thought like, maybe I imagined it. Did I imagine these things? Did I overhype them in my head? Like I'm actually shivering a little bit just thinking about it. Because part of that is anger, right? Okay, thanks. Time's up.
Sorry, time's
up.
Rude computer.
No, that's
Stop
a good
it.
place to stop. We'll, I'm sure, revisit this in future episodes. But it was just something that I thought probably a good time to talk about if we're talking about slaying dragons. You know, that was a big dragon.
But let's be clear. The timer had nothing to do
it
with
not.
what you were talking about. It's
did
just
not.
it just happened.
It was
that
just
the timer went
saved
off.
by the bell, I think,
No.
for all of us.
Well, Priya, I do appreciate you sharing that with us and the little listeners. And I had not even thought
Right.
about that
I know.
when I asked that question. So I feel
Well, I felt like once you started talking about your obstacles and how coming out was like, you've talked about it so much and so I thought like it's disingenuous for me to sit here and say, I don't know what the biggest obstacle in my life is, because I do. And that was.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, well, I guess I should probably talk about it because I'm going to eventually talk about it. I knew I would. So yeah, and I'm sure that there are lots of people listening, because I will say this, like of all my female friends who I've told this to, almost every single one of them has a similar story. And I think it's time that we stop silencing our women. That's why I always, like with my niece and with my goddaughters and stuff, like whenever they don't want to hug somebody, I'm like, don't force them to. That's their body.
Yeah.
They should have autonomy and comfort level in saying who they want to touch them at any given time. Even if that's me and they say no, I will respect that.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. We ended that on a heavy note.
Okay. Well,
Heavy note, guys.
thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Before, what do you think? What should we do? Do you want to wrap up, or do you want to?
I don't have any other songs really. Although I have like 100 other songs, but I feel like we've talked about some of the most important ones. But I will, maybe we'll just end up on this lyric from Fighter by Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
Makes me that much stronger, makes me work a little bit harder, makes me that much wiser. So thanks for making me a fighter.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, little listeners, thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Thanks for hearing my story and me preaching.
If you would like to,
Please drop us a line. Please subscribe or give us a follow, a share or a like.
all right, little listeners, thanks so much for listening, and drop us a line at our
Instagram at The Little Podcast.
or by email.
lifeisinlyrics@gmail.com.
Great. See you next Wednesday.
See you then.